Justin Mallory, professional street artist, skateboarder, and musical creator. Justin Mallory enjoyed a successful skateboarding career throughout the 1990s in Los Angeles, California, which led to many professional stunt gigs and appearances in music videos from national recording artists.
Holla at a player! Holla at a player! Holla at a player when you see me on the street track! Yeah!
Justin retired from professional skating in 2000 and moved to Atlanta, Georgia with his mother and grandparents. Shortly after the move to Atlanta, Justin's grandfather suffered a stroke and was in need of skilled aids. After seeing the need, Justin's interest and passion for the medical field began to grow. In 2001, Justin began medical training and became a certified medical assistant, phlebotomist, and x-ray technician. After graduating, Justin's first assignment was with the U.S. Marshal Service, which catapulted his career to new heights. Over the next 15 years, Justin worked in emergency rooms of various hospitals and specialty clinics throughout Georgia. One of Justin's most notable and fulfilling successes was with a team of medical professionals evacuating convalescent centers during Hurricane Katrina. They transported residents to safe havens in Atlanta and various cities in Texas. Justin's career and personal life flourished throughout the 2000s. And in 2008, he was blessed with a beautiful daughter. Life was good, but all that came to a crashing halt on one infamous day. January 9th, 2011, snowpocalypse. Many will remember that day in Atlanta where everything stopped. On the first day that the snow and ice began to melt, Justin loaded his dog into his truck and set off to assist a friend that had been stranded. Unbeknownst to Justin, his friend left his backpack in Justin's truck once he was dropped off. On the way back to his house, Justin slid on ice and went through a traffic intersection, drawing the attention of the Atlanta Police Department. Justin's car and the contents of his car were searched, and in his friend's bag, a substance that was wrongly identified as methamphetamines. Justin subsequently was arrested for trafficking drugs and spent 65 days in jail. After 2 weeks in jail, Justin was made aware that he was being accused of possessing 2 ounces of methamphetamines, which carries a minimum sentence of 10 years per ounce. At this time, the grand jury offered a plea deal of 25 years and will be out in 20. For the duration of Justin's time in jail, he was subjected to horrendous acts of violence and deplorable conditions. He experienced all of this knowing that he was never in possession of any drugs. Making matters worse, during the first few weeks of his detainment, Justin was unable to make any contact with friends or family. As a result, Justin lost his car, apartment, pets, and all of his worldly possessions. Soon after, Justin lost his job as a result of his employer conducting an online search and seeing the drug trafficking charge. After 65 days in jail and multiple tests of the alleged controlled substance, the result of the GBI report came back as not a controlled substance. Justin spent 65 days in jail for frankincense.
So their test showed that this was meth?
Meth.
This is incense.
This is incense. They're doing these drug testing kits and they're high-fiving each other and they're like, we got them. I just know I'm here for traffic. And they're talking about the drug dealer. So I'm thinking it's the guy next to me or this guy is the drug dealer that they got. And then I find out they're talking about me. And it was like I got kicked in the head by a horse.
The fallout from the wrongful arrest left Justin homeless, jobless, penniless, and without a vehicle. Justin resorted to living on his ex-girlfriend's couch and eventually squatted with a friend in an abandoned building.
Is it possible that maybe it's law enforcement officers who aren't reading the color properly?
The cop could be colorblind.
Atlanta police said the color on a field test convinced them Justin Mallory was trafficking meth. The substances they found in his car were actually incense and baking ingredients left by a friend he was helping to deliver vegan donuts.
I ain't had no drugs or nothing in there, I just had donuts.
Mallory would spend a frightening month inside the Fulton County Jail before he could get a bond. The GBI Crime Lab ultimately determined he had nothing illegal.
Messing up a lot of people's lives, causing chaos, havoc and destruction when it could be. The thing is, just prove it what it is.
After bonding out on erroneous drug trafficking charges, Justin retained the services of attorney Matthew Gebhardt in order to regain his career and livelihood. It was then that Justin and his attorney began the process of suing the Atlanta Police Department and the makers of the drug testing kit, Shershey Inc., for $2 million. The first order of business was to expunge the charges from Justin's record so he could return to work in the medical industry. But once the fees were paid for expungement, they found out that expunging a record only includes adding the word expunged to the erroneous charges. It physically left the charge on record. Because of the charges still listed on Justin's record, he was unable to continue working in the medical industry as Justin's employer conducted an internal review and decided to terminate his employment despite being exonerated and the charges expunged. As a result, Justin was unable to find employment in his field for 4 years. In addition, the lawsuit with the Atlanta Police Department for wrongful arrest was dismissed with no favorable outcome. Justice did not prevail.
Yeah, so these folks are innocent victims. In many cases, they lost a lot. Are they going to be compensated for this?
People think that they should, especially on my social media accounts. They think that these guys are going to, clean up and the city's going to pay a bunch of money. Justin Mallory, the fellow who had the incense that was supposedly meth, he sued the city of Atlanta in federal court, and the case was dismissed. He got nothing.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty
Doesn't
surprising.
seem fair. All right. Thanks so much, Randy.
Okay. Thanks, Randy.
It just blew my mind. There was no possible way it could have been anything involved with me.
The company behind the most popular field test, Searchie International, has a warning on each box that the test results must be confirmed by an approved analytical laboratory.
During this time, Justin focused on reestablishing his life, and he flourished doing art shows and establishing his brand. Justin produced skateboards, clothing and accessories, and he reassembled his punk rock band, Big Black Biscuit. Hosting skateboarding events, curating art shows, and hosting live music events got his brand a lot of traction and kickstarted his momentum. After doing trade shows and showcases, Justin landed a meeting with the national distributor who wanted to take his brand national. The meeting was set to take place at an annual trade show in Arizona. On his way to Arizona to secure the deal, Justin encountered a problem at the start of his trip. When Justin boarded the plane and took his seat, a flight attendant approached and asked if he could bring his bag with him. Justin complied and was escorted off of the plane. Once at the gate, Justin was made aware that he made another passenger uncomfortable, and it was due to the hoodie that he was wearing. The hoodie contained a logo with 2 guns, which happens to be the band's logo at the time. After being wrongly removed from the plane and unable to make future reservations, Justin contacted his attorney to see if there was any recourse. Justin's attorney contacted multiple media outlets and threw a rally at one of the local skate parks in Atlanta to bring awareness to his situation.
A professional skateboarder from Atlanta says he was kicked off a plane at Hartsfield-Jackson because of a shirt he was wearing. He showed us a t-shirt, which has the name of a skating brand and 2 handguns. Channel 2's Justin Wilfon live at the airport tonight with the complaint another passenger raised.
Justin, when that man arrived here at the airport this month, he hoped it was the start of a successful business trip. Little did he know, he wasn't going anywhere. He makes a living with his skateboard and his brand, but this month, Justin Mallory says that's exactly what got him in trouble.
I was flabbergasted. I was taken aback.
The professional skateboarder tells me he was kicked off a Frontier Airlines flight out of Atlanta because of this logo on his shirt. It's the logo for his business, and it features 2 guns.
The shirt is just a graphic.
Mallory tells me the airline said the shirt made another passenger uncomfortable. Mallory's lawyer calls it discrimination.
The shirt, some would say that he's dressed in a hip-hop fashion, and he's African American. So, those 3 things may have all contributed to the discrimination and profiling against him.
Frontier Airlines tells a much different story. In a statement to Channel 2 Action News, the airline indicated Mallory's shirt and brace had nothing to do with it. Frontier said he became argumentative prior to boarding when asked to check his skateboard. The passenger boarded the aircraft and continued to exhibit disruptive behavior.
That's totally false.
After getting kicked off the flight, Mallory says he missed a skateboarding trade show where he planned to promote his brand. Instead, he says it got him in trouble.
I hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. I wouldn't wish it on someone.
And Mallory and his lawyer tell me they are considering a lawsuit. Reporting live at Hartsfield-Jackson, Justin Wilfon, Channel 2 Action News, Night Beat.
Once his story went national, it brought more attention to the plight of people of color and brought more attention to his brand and other social causes that Justin is passionate about.
A booth for a t-shirt? Well, a skateboarder says the logo with guns on it made a Frontier Airlines passenger so uncomfortable the crew kicked him off the plane. But tonight the airline has a very different account of what happened.
Your man was taken off a flight for wearing Big Black Biscuit hoodie.
Professional skateboarder Justin Mallory says while traveling from Atlanta to Phoenix, Arizona for a skating event earlier this month, he was kicked off a Frontier Airlines plane because this shirt made another passenger feel uncomfortable. Mallory's attorney, Maoli Davis, says his client's business manager girlfriend called the airlines immediately after he was removed, and that was the reason they gave her for it.
They came and said, "We need to speak with you," and basically coaxed me out of the airplane and closed the door and then pretended like they didn't know what happened.
In a statement to Fox 5, Frontier Airlines says Mallory was disruptive.
On July 7, 2018, while riding his only form of transportation, a scooter, Justin was a victim of a hit and run. Justin sustained a cranial fracture, broken sternum, 3 broken ribs, a fractured left shoulder, and 6 spinal fractures, 2 in the neck and 4 in the back, rendering the once active skater, urban artist, and band frontman paralyzed. Justin spent 8 weeks in intensive care and suffered many complications, some from improper care and others from lack of mobility. After suffering this devastating, life-changing accident, Justin continues to pursue the development of his creative brand. After a year of hospitalization, rehab, and other various therapies, he has decided to continue pursuing his dream of creative, artistic skateboarding endeavors through his band and brand, Big Black Biscuit. He is currently working on multiple projects, both national and international. One of the most exciting projects is with a skate team in Ethiopia to help advocate for youth who use skateboarding as a way to be creative and productive. With this project and Justin's help, the project will provide access to skateboard materials and help to fund skate parks in the country that has not accepted the skate culture.
Thank you, family, for taking the time to watch my story. As you can see, my life has been forever changed. With this film, I hope to raise awareness and funds to help me live a better quality of life, and by purchasing a van lift system and acquiring other equipment and gear to further my professional career. And if you find it in your heart to contribute, please do so at the following PayPal link. And again, family, thank you for watching my story, and peace.